So our next storyteller is Charles Colvin, who was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and has performed in the New York Comedy Fest in Harlem. He's been doing comedy for 3 years and is also a viral content creator and rapper. He's multi-talented, y'all. Please give a warm welcome to Charles.
How y'all doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? I forgot that I told her that my name was Charles, and that's my office name. On stage, I'm Kason. So I also gotta say before I start, I do kind of feel like Erykah Badu with these lights and this head wrap. So the story I'm gonna tell you guys, this is my first and only time that I got arrested. This happened when I was in college, and I was like about 20 years old. Alright? So my name is Kason, and I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. My whole family is from Brooklyn, Brownsville, Brooklyn. My mother, my father, everybody. So naturally, my first words were goodbye. Actually, when I was born, my mother, she didn't even go to the hospital. She was like, "Fuck out of here, son." I worked out like this, same size. Growing up in the hood, I was always told that I might end up dead or in jail. But I used to watch Disney Channel, so I knew it was other places that you could go. I just never expected college to be one of those places. The college that I went to was extremely small. It was in the mountains of North Carolina, near a town named Boone. So you haven't heard like, oh, you in the Boondocks? Like this was the real Boone. And there was like 1,000 kids in the whole school. Most of them was white, all of them was from the South. And the town itself, it had one stoplight, it had 2 gas stations, and like 4 restaurants, right? And these were all across the street from the school. So I could sum it all up in 5 words. White people in the mountains. Okay? That's what I had going on. So one day, one of my white homeboys, he called me up and he was like, "Dude, I got some shrooms. You want to take a trip?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yes." So he had raw mushrooms. And I don't know if you guys have never eaten like raw mushrooms. They taste like shit. Right? So he had Skittles for the taste. And then he had orange juice for the chase. And then we both ate an eighth of mushrooms. That's 3.5 grams. They know that's too much. So I said to him, I said, "I don't think I should eat all of these. Maybe I should just eat a little bit and then see how I feel." And then he was like, "Nah, man. You gotta eat them all. It's a hero's dose." I mean, like, who don't want to feel like a hero, right? So it started out fine. I was chilling. The walls was like swirly, and then I was feeling like funny and tingly and stuff. And then I started thinking. And then I started thinking. And thinking. And then thinking some more. And then I started thinking harder than that. And then, you know, we were still in the mountains. We was in the mountains, so it was like early spring. So it was still cold outside. So there was still snow on the ground. And at this point, me and my friend, we decided to go outside. And the last thing that I remember thinking was like, wow, the snow is so pretty. And then, like total meltdown. Like, it was like my mind exploded. It was like I understood everything. It was like I could see everything. You know what I mean? It was like the sights, the sounds, the future, the then and the now, the highs, the lows, the colors, the blues and the golds, the heights, the views, the threes, the ones, the twos, the twos, the twos, the twos, the twos, the twos, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was stuck. I was stuck inside my own mind. It was like I was in a car, but somebody else was driving. And it didn't stop there. There were so many thoughts and feelings inside of me that I thought I pushed down a long time ago. And I thought they went away. Things I saw growing up, the feelings I had, the environment that I was raised in, the fear, the pain, the hurt, the guilt, and the shame, the anger, the rage was finally free from the cage. And then the next part I only remember vaguely in and out. So apparently, I was walking up to people's windows in this apartment complex and punching them shits out. So I was walking up, boom! Then I walked to the next window, boom! And then, at some point in time, I remember like coming to briefly for a moment, and then I saw this girl inside her apartment, and she stood up and she was like, ah! And then when I saw that happen, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, these shrooms are crazy. The shrooms. It was the shrooms that was crazy. It was the shrooms. Naturally, somebody called the cops. Right? So the cops showed up, and I was still super high when they showed up. Right? And this was like, I was probably looking very crazy at this moment. And this was right around that Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown time period. Y'all remember that? So, anything could have happened to me. So they came, they forced me down to the ground, they shoved my face into the street, they put my hands behind my backs, and like, while all of this is happening, I'm still tripping, right? And so while they arrested me, I'm visualizing like an old baby being put into a cage in space. Like an old baby, like on some Benjamin Button shit. You know what I'm talking about? And so now they arrest me, and now I'm in the back of the cop car. I'm handcuffed. I'm still high. And that's when I start realizing, I'm like, oh shit, this is really happening. This is real. I'm really arrested right now. So I start panicking. I'm crying. I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. And I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. But then, that's when I had to straighten up, because, I'm a real nigga. So, like, I can't be crying in the back of the cop car and shit like that. That's not gangsta at all. So first they took me to the hospital, because my hand was cut and bloody and bruised from punching fucking glass windows. And then they took me to jail. And by this time, my high was blown, right? The fun was done, right? And now, because I'm going to jail now, I'm on some gangster shit now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know if you know this. I don't know who else been locked up in here. You know what I mean? Like me. But, so when you go to jail, right? When they processing you into jail, they got to wash you. They got to clean you, right? And so basically, they made me strip down butt naked. You feel me? And it's not no shower or nothing like that. They had a hose, right? So it's like the guard is like an old white man, right? I'm in jail. I'm in North Carolina, and then he hosing me down, and then the water is cold on top of that, right? So then all of this is happening. I'm like, yo, this is like an animal. They treat me like a fucking animal in here, right? But remember, I'm on some gangster shit. I'm a thug, so I'm like, yeah, whatever. Whack. So then they give me my jail clothes, right? They give me my jail clothes, a toothbrush, and a roll of toilet paper. And then I was like, yo, I need my phone call, because I seen that in the movies. And just to be clear, at this point, it's like 1 a.m. So the first call that I made was to my mother, and she didn't pick up. So I was like, yo, I need another phone call. And I didn't see that in the movies. So the next person I called was my grandmother. And my grandmother always picks up no matter how late it is, right? And so she was sleeping when I called her. Hello? Grandma, I'm in jail. And then she was like, what? And I said, Grandma, I'm in jail. Call my mother and tell her where I am. And then a few seconds later, the jail got a phone call, right? And And it was my mother. So now my mother is on the phone. I'm in the jail. The guard's looking at me, and she just going off on the phone. She barking at me. She's like losing her mind, right? And then while this was happening, that's when I looked at the guards, and I was like, hey, yo, y'all can lock me up now. I'm not trying to hear this. You feel me? So, you know, they take me. So now they like they trying to take they taking me to my cell, right? So now they taking me to my cell. Mentally, I'm trying to get in the zone of being in jail, right? Mentally. So when they walk in, you know when you see a movie, right, and they walk in a person into jail, it's like people on both sides and they be screaming crazy shit like fresh meat, new booty, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. So like I'm trying to go full gangster, right? So now I'm thinking about shit. I'm like thinking about shanks, shit like that. You know what I mean? Then the guard that's walking me to my cell, he starts saying shit to me like, "So you're from New York, right?" And I'm like. In my head, I'm like, bro, you don't see me trying to get in the character right now? Like leave me alone, bro. I'm trying to go to jail, nigga. Like, now, luckily for me, the cell that they put me in was like the first cell. So I actually didn't even have to walk past anybody at all, right? But then when they put me in the cell, the next thought that came to my head, I'm like, when do I start doing push-ups? How long before we start working out? Thinking about shit, I'm like, yo, y'all gonna give me a pen and paper or something? I got bars, nigga. I'm trying to write something, like, you feel me? That's what I'm thinking about. So, the night is passing, right? And I don't know if y'all noticed, but the customer service in jail is horrible. Right? Terrible customer service. So the guard is walking past every hour, right? And my hand is all fucked up and shit. So I'm like, hey, yo, I need some help. Yo. And I'm like, yo, y'all got nurses, yo? And then he just keep walking past me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on in here, right? So then in the morning, it's morning time, right? They bring me to breakfast. That's when I noticed, that's when I realized, this is the same food that they serve in my school for breakfast. This is the same exact food. It is, bro. It's literally the same food. It's made by the same company, Aramark. Yes, prison pipeline system. Yeah. So then, right, a couple of hours later, fuck it, I don't care. Gangster, remember? So a couple of hours later, right, just like the movies, the guard come and he like, you made bail, right? So my white homeboy that I was doing shrooms with in the first place, he came for me, he bonded me out. Turns out, while all of this shit was happening, he got scared, he was hiding in the bathtub in his apartment. But in his defense, he had a lot of drugs in his apartment, okay? And I was making that shit very hot, okay? You understand? So then he bailed me out, you know. I get a ride back to school. I take a shower, and I still had time to make it to my afternoon class, right? So I went to class, and my hair is looking fucking crazy. There's scratches and cuts and bruises all over my face. My hand is bandaged up, right? And y'all should have seen the look on these white kids' faces when I walked into that classroom. Like, they were sitting there like, and then I went, took my seat right in the front of the classroom where I always sit, right? And this was a criminal justice class. Because I was a criminal justice major. And, you know, I sat in the front, even the teacher looking at me crazy, like, so then, you know, they start the class, and the teacher, she asks the first question. What groups of people are most impacted by the criminal justice system? And I raised my hand. And then I answered the question, like nothing ever happened. My name is K.